Hi, I'm João Galera from Brazil. I'm the artist in residence for the town of Silver City and the Western New Mexico University. I'm here to talk a little bit about my work during this year. Unfortunately, the exhibition was postponed. We want to do this exhibition, we are thinking how, and we are waiting a little bit because I think now it's time to be safe, be home, and take care of ourselves. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to be here in Silver City. I came with Luis, that's my husband, and I think we could share with a lot of people. We could go to different places, and I think this artist residence 1 year was really good for me to just stop and work, study, and also to research. That is really important for an art project. During this research, I used mainly two books, two authors, that is T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland, and Euclides da Cunha, Os Sertões. I choose this, The Wasteland, because I was already studying about that, and I think nowadays it's a really important poem to read. So it was the basis for my work, and it was very important to make the concept. Euclides da Cunha, he's a Brazilian writer. He wrote about a place in Brazil that's very similar with here, Silver City. It's very dry, it's like a desert, and he wrote about this kind of community revolution that they made in this place. So I think it was really important to me to read this when I was here, and I used these two authors, these two books, in this project. Euclides da Cunha I used mainly for the structure of this work. So I divided, like him, in 3 parts this project: the land, the people, and the fight. The first part, the land, it's interesting because I would like to show my point of view of Silver City. So I start to make these small drawings with watercolor and ink of objects that I found around here. At the beginning, we arrived here in June, it was summer, so I started to do this, some of these drawings in plein air, but differently from Brazil, here the winter is completely different, so some weathers, some seasons, I just brought these objects to my place and I just draw it at home. I started to collect these objects all the time that I was walking, I was making some hikes, and I made a description about all these objects in the website, in the virtual exhibition, with the link it's with this video, okay? I want to show some details of some drawings. I think it's interesting to see. I normally use ink, and then I use watercolor. I think we can show this one, this ball, I think the people like a lot. I found this in a mountain, in a hill close to our home. So it's very interesting to see this crab leg. It was in the Gila. This was in the Beard train station. This was in our garden. This flower also in our garden. And I think it's very interesting to see that I started to do it when I arrived, and I did it until like last month. So you can see the change in the seasons here also, in the objects, in these leaves, in parts of the nature. And the idea here was not just bring part of the nature, but part of objects that I found around. All these drawings, they are at my website for this online exhibition, so you can go there and see each one. And I describe it also where I found each object. The other part of the project I called Fight, Memory and Desire, because for this part I used a lot of the poem of T.S. Eliot, like an inspiration, the concept of this part. I can explain the title of this exhibition also because of this part, that it's April's, Summer's, Fires and Good Nights, because to talk about this diversity of memory and desire. So T.S. Eliot starts his poem saying that April is the cruelest month, but he was inspired for another author that was saying that April is the best month. So we have different kinds of Aprils, different kinds of summers, of Februaries. So I decided to use this variability of weathers, of seasons, of months that I spent here to talk about memory and desire. And what's memory and desire? Memory, it's what we did, and desire is what we want. So in this part, I think I want to try to make these questions and show a little bit about my concept about memory and desire. This is very interesting because this house, when we arrived here, we went to the mine district and we saw this house very close to the Empire Zinc mine. And it was a little bit abandoned, like this. It was amazing, I loved, and I decided to draw. But like, I don't know, like 2 months after this, the same place was like this. This, when I saw what happened, I thought this is the concept of this work. Memory and desire, what we want to do with our memory. What are we doing with our memory of these places? What was here? What could be here? And I think this can explain a lot about these changings, these seasons, these months, this memory and desire, this fight that's happening with this memory. So I think these 2 drawings, I want to start with these 2 drawings to talk about this concept, these contradictions. The first drawing that I did here, actually, was this one. This is San Vicente Creek. There are these old cars there, and they are like in the middle of the earth and the soil. So I thought it was very interesting. It was the first one, and I was yet reading about the poem. This is the second one. It's a house that we saw in Mimbres. It's very interesting because these drawings, I made it very big and a lot of elements. And during the process of reading the text, and I knew that T.S. Eliot, he wrote a long poem and he cut it in half. So I also decided to take elements of these drawings. Like this one. This one we saw in a trail that we went, and I started to make it, and I thought I don't need to draw everything. I can take elements. And it was very interesting because during this process of these drawings in Brazil, there was a lot of fires in Amazon. There were a lot of fires in Amazon, and it's interesting how the process starts to grow with all this poem, these drawings, and what was happening in Brazil, I was seeing here. I think this drawing is very powerful to talk about this fight, the life and death, you know. So here I think also it's also interesting to see that I took a lot of elements. Me and Luis we love to talk about the books that we are reading, and he's reading The Magic Mountain of Thomas Mann, and one of the parts he says that where there's a lot of space, there's a lot of time. And here there's a lot of space, and we could feel this time, you know. And I think here, also taking all the other elements to draw this place, this old cinema in the earth, to talk about this abandon, this place that was something and it's not anymore. And the time here, for us, like, one thing that we could feel a lot is the presence of the time. So all these spaces that I start to use more and more in my drawings here. This drawing, actually, it's like this. This is the Bear train station, and the idea here was, when we arrived in Silver City, at the beginning, it was strange because I don't drive and we don't have a car, and sometimes to go to other places is very difficult. And we start to feel more and more this. How it's difficult to go to some places, to get out of Silver City, sometimes like to go to another town, because there is no public transportation, like a big public. There is a bus, but it's very limited in hours, and also there is no buses for other places. So it was something that it was very strong for us, like what we can do, how can we get out of here sometimes, or if we need to go to Tucson to do something, it was difficult. So I think here it was something that I would like to describe about this. Because we saw a lot of these trail roads with no trains, these roads with nowhere to go. So I did this drawing with these two horizons and sometimes no place to go. This is the opposite side, sorry. This is also, we were going a lot. We went a lot to the mine district to see, to observe, and it was one of the houses. It was with this window broken window. And it was interesting to see inside, to see the memory. And I already worked about these marks of the time in these walls with another work that I did in Brazil. And for me it was very interesting to see here, this inside this house, and to see through this, you know, the nature growing inside. So memory and desire. Show a little bit more. This, it's also Mimbres. It was very interesting because this thing of the car was so powerful in my mind, you know, always seeing this question about transportation, and I saw this, and for me it was very like powerful. These images, and also these agricultural machines just stopped there, and what happened, you know, like what happened here, what will happen here, this nature coming. And I think in a lot of my works you can see that there are some parts of the nature growing in these ruins. So there's a transformation already happening. There's a transformation here. This is very interesting to see, like, image of what we are doing or not. Uh, this is also another drawing that I took a lot of elements and I just left the only elements that I think they are powerful to talk about the power of this place. You know, the forces that are growing here. We went to my district and we saw this, the mill where the strike of the Empire Zinc happened, and there's a lot of history. There's a lot of important things that happened here, and we can see until now. But this is closed. This place is closed. This so important place. We can see the mural outside, but nothing's happening here anymore. At the same time, Blake's crossing the road with a lot of people, sometimes not looking for this, and overall the mine that still here and is still controlling all this process. I'll show you more. You can see also all these drawings at my website. You can click and you can see it bigger, so if you want to see more details there you can. Okay. This was one of the last drawings that I made. I started to do it before the coronavirus, and it's very interesting because I was thinking to do other elements here, and with the coronavirus I decided no, that's it. And it's very interesting how art it starts to change during this process, and the world changed. So I decided just to leave this house like this, talking a little bit about this isolation, and at the same time about this memory that's fragile. You know, this can fall anytime. So I think this was very interesting during this process of doing this project here. The same with this last one. This is Boston Hill. It was one of the last times that we went before the coronavirus. I took this picture. It's an old mine and it's written explosive danger, and we cannot see the danger here, you know. It's in the air, it's in the soil, we don't know. We don't know if it's here or not. So I think with all that's happening and with all these transformations, this was like, I have to do this, you know, this last drawing. There's a lot of memory here. We went to Boston Hill a lot of times and we just saw this once. So it's like this archaeological art that we can do also during this process. And the other part of the project, the people, we decided to use clay, and we invited different groups, different people to do with one piece of clay, one object that's important for each one. We went to a lot of places, schools, churches, festivals, to the farmers market here at the university, and we have now around 700 pieces. Because of the coronavirus, we couldn't fire all. You can see different, like fire and not fire, and we couldn't finish this work yet. But the idea is to finish it until June, when we are going back to Brazil, and do this art installation. We are going to use crochet to link all the objects together and make this community art installation. I think this part of the project was really important for us, because we had one idea of United States, one idea of Silver City, and sharing and talking with other people was really important. We could go to different kinds of places also, you know, with different ideas, and listen and talk. And this part of the project, it's about talking and sharing. So I think here all these objects can show this memory of these people, and also the memory of the process that we pass through together to build it. I will share more information about this. I hope that we can do it, and we can be together to see this community art installation. We are going to be together in this piece of art. I would like to thank you, everybody that participate. I have to thank you mainly the university, the Western New Mexico University, the town of Silver City for the support. I want to thank all my friends, our friends that we made here, the people that we met that opened the houses for us. So it was very important for us to be here. Thank you.